This is Unit 5, Section 1 for College Algebra, due April 29th. Notice the first one. Some of these are fairly simple, just straightforward, but 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then work it out, just like 3 to the 5th. I wrote down all the 3's and multiplied it out, and so on. But let's get to number 3, e to the 2nd. I take my calculator here. I'm using a scientific calculator. Turn it on. Okay, showing on my screen. Nothing. I go second and down here to natural log, right here, this button, LN, and that shows me an E on my screen. Then I put in my number that they said, 2, and I hit enter, and that gives me my number. So that's what you do on E. That's 2.7 is approximately what E is. It's called Eulers constant. Eulers constant, E. And it has to do with this natural log button down here. Second natural log gets you to E, and then we'll be working with the natural log button on other things. Okay, number 4 is straightforward, 5 to the 4th. Then on 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, we have negative exponents. Notice when you have negative exponents, you move them to the other part of the fraction and then evaluate them, like number 6. 3 to the negative 2nd is 1 over 3 squared, and then 1/9. Negative exponents. To get rid of that negative exponent, you move it from numerator to denominator if it started in the numerator, or from denominator to numerator if it started in the denominator. Then 10 through 13 has 1/2, 1/3, and like that. Like 16 to the 1/2, that 2 means the square root of 16. And you work it out. Number 11, 49 to the 1/2 would be, because of the 2, that means the square root of 49. The index right there is understood to be a 2. Understood to be a 2, and then you evaluate it. And that's what you do with 1 over a number. When it's 1 over a number in a fractional exponent, the number that's on the bottom is your index. And then like number 14, 125 to the 1/3 means cube root of 125, 5. Then number 16, not only do we have a number in the denominator, 81 to the 3/4, the first thing you do is take the 4th root of our number because of the denominator. 4th root of 81 is 3. Then you cube the 3, 27. So that's what you do. The bottom number first is your index of your radical, and then the top number is the power after you figure out what the 4th root of 81 is. Then negative exponents on 19 through 24. They're all negative exponents, like 20, 16 to the negative 3/4. We first move it to the denominator. Then it was a fractional exponent, so we take the 4th root first. 4th root of 16 is 2, then 2 cubed, get 1/8. Okay, 22, fractional exponent, move it down. Then I take the cube root of it because of the denominator. Cube root of 27 is 3, then 3 squared, 1/9. Number 24, 32 to the negative 7/5. So I move it down, 1 over 32 to the 7/5. Then I take the 5th root of 32 first, which is 2, and then 2 to the 7th is 128. Same way on the next page here. 25, 26, 28, pretty much the same. Now 28 is 7.8 to the 0 power. Remember, that's 1. And then all of these 27, 29, 30, 31, and 32 are all using your calculator. 27 is 3 to the 1.57 power. So the first thing I do on my calculator is I hit the 3 button, and I have 3 showing. Excuse me, I'll clear my screen. I hit my 3, I've got 3 showing. Then on my calculator, to go to an exponent, I push this button, the caret key. Then I put in my exponent, 1.57. And then I hit enter, and I get my answer. And round it off at 4 decimal places. 29 also, again, I'm going to clear my screen. Remember, it's E again, 2.7, Eulers constant. So I go second natural log. Again, here's what I did. I went second and then down to this button here, natural log. And then I put in, it's a square root of 2, so on my calculator, I've got to go second and x squared to get that radical showing. And then I put in my 2. I'm going to close my parentheses, hit enter. Then again, I round off my decimal at 4 places. Number 31, to put it in the calculator, the first thing I do, I'll clear the screen here, is I'm going to hit my square root button. I go second, x squared, and now I've got a radical showing. And I put in my 5. I close my parentheses, so that 5's the only thing underneath the radical. Then I push my caret key again, because I need an exponent. And then on my calculator, I go second, x squared, to get another square root showing up in the exponent. And then I put in the 2, close the parentheses, and hit enter. And again, I round that off at 4 decimal places. Number 30. Number 30 is 4 to an exponent. Move it out, it's shining there. Okay, I'm going to put the 4 in first. And then I hit that caret key again, right here. Caret key. And then I push the negative button down on the bottom. Negative. This negative down here. Then I put in 1.767. And now I have that showing on my calculator, and I hit enter, and I round that off at 4 decimal places. Okay, again, number 32, I have an E again. Remember, it is second and natural log. So I have my E showing. And then it deals with the exponent already. It's negative 5/3. So I'm going to put negative, and then 5 divided by 3, and close my parentheses. And then, now that's what's showing on my calculator, E caret, parentheses, negative 5 divided by 3, and then round that off at 4 decimal places. Okay? Then, I think there's one more with the calculator. Now 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 are fractions. If it is a whole fraction with a negative exponent, flip over the fraction. And flip over the fraction inside the brackets, and it's still to the 2/3, but we just got rid of the negative on the exponent. Then you work it out. You take the cube root of it and square it. The 3 on the bottom means cube root of it, and then you square it. Okay, 34, just this to the negative exponent, so move it up, evaluate it. Okay, 35, again a fraction. Flip over that fraction, gets rid of the negative exponent. Instead of negative 3/2, it's positive 3/2. Then take the square root of it and cube it. 36 is just one number on the bottom with the negative exponent, move it up, and then take the cube root of it, and then take that to the 4th power. Cube root of 27 is 3 to the 4th power, 81. 37, again, it's a fraction. Flip it over, it'll make it positive 2. 3 over 2 to the positive 2. Now, 38 is another one with a calculator, but the first thing I did, it was in the denominator with a negative exponent. I moved it to the numerator. Then, in my calculator, I type in the 1.57, our decimal, what we have, 1.57, and then I go to my caret key right there. That gets my exponent there, and then I put in the 3, and I hit enter. So 3.869893, but I round it off at 4 decimal places, 3.8699. Then, dealing with exponents, okay, graphing when you have exponents. This here, number 40, 3 to the x plus 2, is going to be, when you have an x in an exponent, it's going to be a graph that looks similar to that. First thing you do is draw a horizontal asymptote, which is a line that it does not cross, which is this line right here. How did I know where it is? It's the number that's added out here, added to the exponent part, to the 3 to the x. What's added there? Y equals 2. That's my horizontal asymptote. Draw it, then simply put 0 in for your exponent. So we get 3 to the 0 plus 2. Remember, 3 to the 0 is 1 plus 2 is 3. So 0, 3 is what we call our transition point right there. It's above the horizontal asymptote. One direction from here, it's going to go up. The other direction, it's going to go down towards the line. That's what these things do. So to find out that it goes up, like I showed here, put in another value in for x. I put in 1. So 3 to the first is 3 plus 2 is 5. So 1, 5 is higher than our first point, 0, 3. So from 0, 3 to the 1, 5, it's going up. So it will keep going on up to infinity. And the other way, it goes along our line. Okay? Question number, see this, what happens? From 0 to 3 to 1 to 5, it was going away from the horizontal asymptote, so it will keep going to infinity. The other way, it goes down towards the horizontal asymptote. Finding your y-intercept, put 0 in for x, and it's 0, 3. Also, the domain, notice, is all real numbers. But our range starts with that 2 I had, this line here, from 2, not including the 2 because it never touches it, to infinity. Then, number 42, same way, I set my exponent, 3 minus, okay, first thing is there was nothing added or subtracted to this, so I draw my horizontal asymptote, y equals 0. So down here, right along the x-axis, is your horizontal asymptote. Number 2, set the exponent equal to 0, so 3 minus x equal to 0, you get x is 3. Put that back in, 3, comma, 1 is your beginning point, your transition point right here. So that's one point. We need to find out one way it's going to go along the horizontal asymptote, the other way it's going to go towards infinity. So if I put in 0, which I could, and find my y-intercept, 0 in there, well, you get 2 to the third plus 0, 2 to the third is 8, so up here. So from our first point to our second point, it was going up towards infinity, and it will keep going. The other way, it goes down along the line. Our domain is from negative infinity to infinity, all real numbers. Our range is from 0 to infinity, our y coordinates, 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity.